Dropping gems from Keisha Christian. She's on a mission, sharing information, knowledge for soul, body and mind. Dropping gems, KeishaGems.com. KeishaGems.com.
Welcome to Just Dropping Gems, proud partner of Rude Rangers Entertainment. We can now be found on Roku and on the Rude Rangers app. Be sure to download the app on your iOS or Android devices. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Just Dropping Gems podcast. On this episode of Just Dropping Gems, I have a lovely guest today. Her name is Amanda Love. I must say, I just love her name. It has a nice ring to it. Amanda Love is a 30-year-old registered holistic nutritionist. She has been drawn to health and nutrition, which arose after being diagnosed with fibromyalgia at the age of 20. This led her on the path to assist other women who suffer from this disease. She is ready to look for real solutions, steps to take that will give real relief so that one could enjoy life again. Amanda, I thank you. Thank you for coming on. And I must say, I can't wait for the audience to really hear about her story and what led her on the path of becoming a registered holistic nutritionist. Very, very, very interesting story she has to tell, and I can't wait to hear it. Amanda, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be on.
Yes, so can you tell us what led you on this path to becoming a registered holistic nutritionist? It said in your bio that you were diagnosed with fibromyalgia at the age of 20.
Yes, that's true. I was born 6 weeks early, and I was dealing with lots of health conditions early in my childhood, and I kept getting sick every 4 to 6 weeks, and the doctors didn't know what I was going through and stuff. And then I went to the top rheumatologist place in Arizona, in Mesa, and they said, oh, you have fibromyalgia. And this was back in 2010, a couple months before my 21st birthday. So it's almost been 10 years this October that I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia.
Oh, okay. And can you tell us a little of your story?
Yeah, I'm happy to. What happened is I graduated high school and I went into personal training because that's what I wanted to do. And I completed that program, but at the end of 2009, and all of a sudden I would go to the gym and I would just be crashing. I was so tired constantly, and I couldn't do anything at that time. I was in so much pain. The fatigue was taking so much out of me. I was on the couch. As most people with fibromyalgia know, you have no energy and stamina. Your sleep is all messed up, and so you're like, what is going on? Why at 20 years old am I dealing with all these symptoms? And then I went to the rheumatologist, and they said, what rheumatologists usually recommend is physical therapy, or they usually recommend Cymbalta or medication, which didn't work for me. And so it takes a while to find out that I had all these food sensitivities. I went to a pain management doctor who was like, oh, you need to get these shots in your back. And they shoot up the needles into like about 20 different spots on your back. And then you have to have like cookies or juice because your blood sugar is dropping so low, right? Mm-hmm. And they think, oh, pain, that's going to help the fibromyalgia, is to do that. So that was one of the things recommended. By actually, we saw it was right next to the physical therapist place, and they said, and we said to the rheumatologist, oh, should we try that? And they're like, yeah, sure, you could try it. But I was coming out of those, they only recommend doing it a couple times, and I was coming out of those appointments just bawling, crying, because I was in so much pain. And it's like you don't know what, you're just like in limbo because you keep trying all these different doctors and they don't have the answers for you, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, so you keep, and I've talked to many different people, and everybody just keeps trying different doctor after doctor. And when you get, they always recommend, like, the doctors say, oh, go to the rheumatologist, because that's how most people get diagnosed with fibromyalgia, is through a rheumatologist. But people don't really, the researchers don't really know what is cause of fibromyalgia. Mm-hmm. It's you're constantly, it's a medical condition characterized by chronic widespread pain and heightened pain response to pressure. And there's trigger points all over your body, and that's how they diagnose you. They touch all your different body parts, and they say, oh, does this hurt and stuff. And recently I found out there is a fibromyalgia blood test, but I would have to do some more research into this. So that might be a better way to get diagnosed with fibromyalgia, because a lot of times I think people might get misdiagnosed with it. So, but most of the time, people with fibromyalgia, they deal with pain, extreme fatigue, your sleep issues are really the main issues. And then there's also other issues that come with fibromyalgia, but those are like the top three that I see from people.
Oh, okay. So one of the things you mentioned about fibromyalgia, being that if you're diagnosed with it, you mentioned pain. So it's chronic pain, I'm assuming. And you have chronic fatigue, right? To the point where you're like, you're exhausted, but it messes with your sleep, so you're not able to really rest. So it's like you have, it's like it just doubles. You're not able to sleep, and then your body's just drained. Am I wording that correctly?
Yeah, you feel like when if you're asleep, you feel like you might not get that restful sleep that people get. Mm-hmm. And then you feel like, well, this is how I would feel, but you feel like you've been hit like by a truck. You just feel like totally slammed and tired, and you can't function. And most people with fibromyalgia, they're like stuck on the couch, or they're stuck in bed because they're so tired. They don't know what's going on.
I can't imagine what that, I can't even imagine what that feels like. My goodness. It's a good thing that sometimes when we say things happen to us in life, it brings us to a career. So to a particular career like the one that you're in right now, to help other people so they could have an easier life than you did, which I think is admirable and commendable of you.
Thank you. That means so much. Yeah. My goal is for people to not suffer. I want people to I know you might not totally get back to the way you were before, but at least there's ways that are natural through food and diet that can help you feel better so you could spend time with your family and friends or do the job you love or whatever it is that you want to do in life.
Nice.
That's my goal.
Nice. Before we get into discussing about your career, can you tell us a little more about what exactly is fibromyalgia? As I understand, it's an autoimmune disease. Am I correct?
Actually, I believe it's an immune disease, but it's not, they don't really know exactly what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've seen people say, well, it's a neurology issue, but then I'm like, then I think to myself, well, then why wouldn't people be going to like a neurologist and not a rheumatologist? So they really don't know. I think personally, I think people are just, it's a lot of stress that people go through, and you have a lot of people have a lot of illnesses. And I also think food sensitivities and environmental issues can also play a part in fibromyalgia. So that's what I think people need to focus on more is, okay, I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Okay, now what can I do to somewhat live a life where I could enjoy my life again and not get into the victim mentality of, oh, I have fibromyalgia. It's taken everything from me. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. You're not looking at it as like, oh, why me? But looking at it more so, okay, now I have this, now what? What can I do to improve my life?
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically when you sort of have that attitude, that's where healing begins. And when I say healing, I'm not necessarily talking about cure,
Yes.
but healing as in the when you change your mindset towards the disease, you'll notice that you'll actually start to feel better. Not that it will go away completely and you won't have any symptoms at all, but definitely when you change your mindset and your outlook, your attitude towards your disease. I'm sure this happened as you went through it changed.
The rheumatologist actually told my grandmother at the time he wanted me to go out of the room, and he actually thought that, he's like, well, she's just depressed. And I probably was a little sad, but more than anything, I was motivated. I'm like, oh, great, I have this diagnosis. What is next? And I've always had that mindset of, okay, I'm dealing with whatever health issue I'm dealing with. Okay, what can I do to feel better? And I think we need to get to the point where people need to realize food and supplements play a big part in any health condition. And pretty much any health condition that you have, I'm not saying every health condition, but pretty much every health condition can be improved on at some point. So
yeah, pretty much I must agree with that. And that's what kind of led me through my journey as well as where I am here today, the health issues I was experiencing. But when I then found out about the relationship between food and my diet, certain things started to change in my life. So I definitely could relate to you on that aspect. Now, as I mentioned in your bio, you are a registered holistic nutritionist. Can you explain to my audience what is the difference between a holistic nutritionist and just a nutritionist that you probably would go to if you wanted to go seek out a nutritionist, or if you were to have one in the hospital? Like, what is the difference?
For me personally, I did the school of it was called the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition, and I pay a membership to get that registered. So I'm in their registry, so you could look up on their website and say, oh, she's legit, and she's not and she's done some education. So that's why I have registered holistic nutritionist. But I focus on the body systems and your health concerns. So if somebody comes to me and says, well, I'm sick all the time, I could do a health history with you, and I could see, oh, well, your immune system, it looks like you're dealing with all these issues with your immune system, so maybe we need to focus in with the immune system, or maybe we need to focus on your digestive system, because I do believe a lot of health issues begin in the gut. That's a big thing. And I also have a podcast where I talk a lot about gut issues and fibromyalgia and any issues, and because I think gut health is extremely important, and
yes, I
it's
agree with
becoming
you.
very popular. So
I definitely agree with you. It's also known as our second brain. Some people believe it's the first brain, but we talk about gut instinct. So if your stomach hurts, how it affects your mood. So it's so much is in our gut, and if we don't have a healthy digestive system, it definitely could affect our health, and people don't realize that.
yeah, I think people think that nutrition is a one size fits all, and a lot of people, there's certain things that get help, certain conditions, but you might need a more individualized plan. So
Yeah, definitely. So what exactly is it that you I must say, I asked what you do with your clients. Now, you mentioned like if they have an issue with their immune system. I was thinking, like, how would you know exactly what where the issue is in their body?
So if I actually have forms for that they fill out, and they're very complex forms.
Oh, okay.
And it shows me, it breaks it all down where it shows me, okay, the immune system, and it shows all of that. So it's hard, it wouldn't make sense probably if I explained it, but it's pretty detailed, and it's not like your regular health history where you go to the doctor and stuff. My first appointment with anyone who wants to work with me one-on-one is 90 minutes, because I really want to see what you're dealing with. And I really want to take the time, because you probably never had that time with the doctor, because how many of us go to the doctor these days and we only are in there for like 10 minutes, and they don't say too much, or sometimes they're looking at the screen and they're not even really looking at us, and we're just like, okay. So I take the time to actually get to know the person and see what they're dealing with.
Oh, okay. So I guess, so now I get it. It's the type of questions you ask that will
Yes.
let you know what body systems.
Yeah, it's the type of questions. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got it. Got that. So, earlier in conversation, you had mentioned that you had certain allergies, because this is coming to me as we had mentioned about gut health. So you noticed that you had certain allergies to different types of food, or was it just was it just food?
Yeah. Yes. Early on, I was tested for regular allergies and stuff, but I went to, this was back in 2011. I went to a wellness chiropractor, and he did blood, stool, and he also did like food for food sensitivities and stuff. And I found out I was sensitive to gluten, soy, eggs, dairy. And I actually have 2 genes where if it predisposes me, but so it's very high with gluten. So if I have one small molecule of gluten, that can make me sick. So I have stayed away from those things for the past 9 years.
Mm.
And it's really helped with my fibromyalgia. So that's what I like to help people with is let's test it. I'm not going to say you have to be off these foods for your whole life, but let's test it and see what is going on.
Oh.
So, but my parents it actually showed that my parents predisposed me to that sensitivity. So it might, if I ever had kids, it might show up in them or something. So.
Oh, okay. So this is something in your DNA, of course. So
Yeah.
you were disposed to it.
Yep.
Because of that. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And then so you actually probably do this with your clients where you where you just mentioned putting them on a gluten-free diet. So taking things out and then reintroducing foods to see if you have an allergy to it. So that's basically one of the things that you do.
Yeah, it is. And I don't recommend, it's not probably the most easiest thing for people to do, but it's well worth it. And it could take several months for it to get out of your body. So I think sometimes people say, well, I've gone gluten-free. And I'm like, well, have you not cheated? How many months did you do it? And with fibromyalgia, it's not just one thing that's going to help you probably like fix you. I think sometimes we get in the concept of, okay, I have sleep issues. So what is this one thing that's going to fix it? And then I think it's like a multiple of stuff that you need to feel better. It's not just one thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. So I'm thinking if you were to suggest a gluten-free diet, how long would you have to be on it before you introduce something that has gluten in it for one of your clients? I'm just curious.
I would probably recommend at least a month, 4 to 6 weeks maybe. And then I would also say you could start, you slowly, like for me personally, I couldn't, when the wellness chiropractor, he wanted me to be off of these things, even though it showed up in my tests. He had me off of everything for a month, and it was just fruits, vegetables, whole grains. And you slowly introduce something back, and every couple days you might introduce a new food, it's not a fast process, but you have to take the time because you didn't wake up with your health issue. Like, you didn't wake up with that health issue. It probably took years to develop. So, so you have to realize that you need to take time with your health. Your health's not going to bounce back within like a week. It might take several months to feel better. So
yeah, it might take 6 months.
Yeah, it might take 6 months, might take a year. It takes it takes a long time too. And I think sometimes we feel we want the quick fix.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
You
this
might
is
feel a little better with some suggestions that I do, but it's not gonna, you're not gonna bounce back if that, so.
yeah, it's true. People don't realize when you are trying to live a more holistic lifestyle and you actually have been dealing with health issues, because I'm speaking from a personal experience, it actually took me a while before I started to feel better. It did not happen overnight. For me, it took a few months.
Yeah, exactly.
Before I started to feel better, before, you know, because my thing was seasonal year-long allergies, clinical depression.
Yeah.
It took a while before I actually started to feel better. I would say maybe about a good 2 years or more before I could say,
Yeah.
before I could say, oh, I feel like myself again. So I could relate to you on some levels when it comes to healing. I'm not saying I'm cured. I'm not, because I'm still going through my own healing process, but definitely. And as for you, you too are still going through your own healing process. You can't say that you're completely healed of fibromyalgia.
No, I never, what I tell people is I can give you recommendations and stuff, but I don't ever say, I never diagnose you.
Mm-hmm.
I will never say treat, and I will never say I cure you of this disease. And a lot of times I've been seeing lately, people say, well, if we could just cure fibromyalgia. And I'm just thinking, well, let's just start with getting you feeling better. Let's not worry about curing or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just start with a small little step. If that small little step is improving your sleep, then let's start with that.
Exactly. And I like the approach you took. You didn't look at it as woe me, and it's more like, okay, let me see what I could do. Let me learn more about it. And I'm going to go into a career where I could also help other people or assist other people who might have the same diseases I do, to help them live a more productive life.
Yes, that's exactly what I did. I did a health coaching program,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to expand on my knowledge and get more in depth, like with the body systems and stuff. So that's why I decided I wanted to become a registered holistic nutritionist. And that's why I did the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. So
Nice. Nice. So Amanda, are you currently doing any workshops or collaborating with anyone?
right now I'm looking to do workshops in my city of Prescott, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And I also I have my own podcast.
Nice.
So
Can you tell us what your podcast is? I'm sorry.
it's called Fibromyalgia, Real Solutions with Amanda Love.
Nice. Okay.
And it'll be a year in May.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. And there's 18 episodes for everyone to listen to on a variety of topics. On one of my I talk about my story, and in episode 2 I talk about food sensitivities. In one of my episodes I talk about sleep issues for people with sleep. So I'm looking for people to be on my show, and I'm going to be starting to do that pretty soon.
Nice. Nice.
So that's one of my things I'll be doing. And I'm hoping to have like a membership site for people to focus on one subject. Example would be sleep, and then I would maybe give some recipes, and it would just be a community of women with fibromyalgia who would just want to focus their time on one subject so they don't get overwhelmed, right? And so that's probably going to be in the next few months. So
I like that. That's really nice.
thank you.
Yes, we actually thrive better and we learn better in community. So definitely always wanted to get a tribe together in your own community together. That's beautiful. Well, everyone, I have to let you know all of Amanda Love's information will be in the show notes if you are listening to this on podcast platform. And definitely, if you are listening to this on YouTube, all her information will be in the description box below, so you know where to find her if you're interested in learning more about fibromyalgia. Or what area are you in, Amanda, again?
I'm in northern Arizona, but I do phone calls, so we're pretty much wherever you are, I could do a phone call with you.
Nice. So she actually works with her clients virtually. Nice. And also, if you are in that area, you could, if you're looking for a registered holistic nutritionist, then definitely you want to reach out to her. So Amanda, it has been a pleasure having you on my show today and learning so much more about fibromyalgia. Do you have any final words you would like to leave with my audience today?
Yeah, sure. My thing is, I want you guys to ask yourself the question, has my health improved since last year? If not, maybe it's time to try something different. You could always check out my podcast, Fibromyalgia Real Solutions with Amanda Love, or you could sign up I offer a free sleep guide for those with fibromyalgia, where I recommend a supplement that will help you get that deep, restful sleep, and you will wake up refreshed and not feeling like a truck has hit you. So if you want to learn more about me, you could also find me on Facebook, Amanda Lise Love, and I hope you guys have found this helpful.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for coming on. I appreciate you, and I must say I love the work that you're doing and what you're doing to help others with the same condition with you, the condition of fibromyalgia. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us and what you're doing to make the world a better place. I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
And everyone, thank you so much for listening to Just Dropping Gems podcast. Peace, love, and holistic health. Much abundance to you. This episode is sponsored by Dropping Gems Publishing and Dropping Gems Academy. Be sure to visit our website, www.droppinggemsacademy.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at droppinggems.com. To become a sponsor or advertise on this show, you can contact us at KeishaChristian.com or email us at info@KeishaChristian.com. Holistic health and much abundance to you.